I would like to take some time and explain why I'm not a feminist. Lately, I've been watching a lot of content by social justice creators, and I've come to realize that there's a lot more diversity and nuance among feminists than I had previously thought, which has been a really great learning experience for me, and it's been really interesting. So I thought, why not take the chance to share my perspective of the issue, because people who are critical of feminism aren't all the same either. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, really, Roaming, another anti-feminist video on the internet? We have enough of those, like we get it already. But even though there are a lot of anti-feminist videos out there, they don't necessarily speak for me just because we both happen to disagree with feminism. Personally, I don't hate feminists, nor do I think they're all angry, overweight, man-hating, blue-haired lesbians. But in my opinion, there are still a lot of issues that stop me from associating myself with the movement. And with that being said, I'd like to preemptively respond to a comment that I know I'm going to get, which is that if you believe in equality for men and women, you're a feminist. Now, this is the classic dictionary definition of feminism that people like to throw out there, but really, the issue is way more complicated than the idea that you either hate women or you're a feminist. And if you believe in equality for the genders, I'd say that actually makes you more of an egalitarian than a feminist. Feminism, by definition and in practice, has always looked at things from the female perspective. But I'm personally just as interested in equality for men as I am in equality for women, so I just wouldn't feel comfortable attaching a label onto myself that emphasizes the female experience over the male experience. But even if I did believe that feminism's definition focused on men's equality as well, I still wouldn't call myself a feminist because I don't want to align myself with a lot of the things feminists have stood for in recent years. Feminism is so much more than just a word or a label or a belief. It's a political movement, one that, in its current state, I have no interest in being a part of. And probably the biggest reason why I don't identify with feminism is that it tends to focus on equality of outcome instead of equality of opportunity. If you look at current feminist initiatives like the very often debunked gender wage gap or the shortage of women in STEM and corporate leadership positions, it's pretty clear that feminist ideology believes that in a perfect world where everything was equal, men and women would make the exact same decisions and would be equally represented in every way. Feminists who may or may not be watching this, am I wrong? If anything I'm saying about feminism isn't true, by all means, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, according to this mentality, anything less than an equal outcome must mean there's discrimination happening. Now, this to me is a pretty big issue because men and women just don't make the same choices in life. It's been proven that women work fewer hours than men, they have different priorities when it comes to flexibility and benefits, and they just don't want to take the same risks that men do in a lot of high-pressure jobs. Not to mention the fact that, in general, men and women are just attracted to different professions. Men and women make different choices in their lives, but it seems to me like feminism wants to disregard personal preference in favor of authoritarian social engineering. They give women unfair advantages over men just so they can say, hey, look, there's women here, we did good, #equality. Some women are going to want to go into STEM, and that's great, good for them, but real equality means the opportunity to make your own decisions, even if they're not the right ones according to feminists. And this brings me to my next issue with feminism, which is the way it uses identity politics. Listening to your talking points, feminists, it feels like you often assume you're speaking for all women. Like, hey, as women, these are our collective interests, and as women, this is what we should be striving for. But being a woman isn't like being in a club or a political party. Women are all individuals with different beliefs and different opinions, so it really bothers me when people claim to speak on my behalf based on something as superficial as my gender. Being a woman doesn't mean I automatically have the same views as you, and in fact, on most topics, I actually don't have the same views